Manx Radio's Update with Beth Espy.
Well, Fastamai, good evening and welcome to your rundown of what's been happening on the Isle of Man today, which has had a distinctly royal flavour as we take a look back at Princess Anne's visit here and hear from someone who's added the princess to the list of royals she's never seen in person before. Also tonight, the Treasury Minister tells us if he's heard about the end of free healthcare and whether that's on the horizon, and the RNLI undertakes a review to ensure the most appropriate life-saving asset is allocated to Douglas. We'll also let you know if there are any traffic or travel issues to look out for. And as ever, if you have thoughts to share, we'd love to hear from you. You can text 166 177 or email studio@manxradio.com. First, let's join Lewis for a roundup of today's main news headlines.
Fastamai, a rise in historic reports of sexual offences shows more people feel confident enough to come forward. That's from the Justice and Home Affairs Minister, Jane Paul Wilson, in light of statistics shared in the Chief Constable's annual report. Princess Anne unveiled an engraved floor stone at Cathedral Isle of Man today, commemorating the £2 million restoration and reordering of the cathedral. The Princess Royal also visited the All at Sea exhibition at the House of Manannan. The steam packet has brought forward tomorrow's Manannan sailing to Liverpool by 5 hours due to adverse weather conditions. The 3 o'clock sailing is now due to depart at 10 tomorrow morning. And a yellow weather warning has been issued from 10 o'clock tonight until 2 a.m. tomorrow. The Met Office is warning of coastal overtopping and inner harbour flooding as a moderate to fresh southwest wind couples with high spring tides. In the latest international news, US President Joe Biden's been briefed on the possible death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. The Israeli military says it's checking the possibility one of 3 people killed in an operation in Gaza is the country's #1 target. The 62-year-old's thought to be the mastermind behind the October 7th attacks on Israel last year. Police say they found total disorder in Liam Payne's hotel room with items broken and medication scattered around. The 31-year-old former One Direction singer died after falling from a balcony in Argentina. And hundreds of flights could be axed by Ryanair if the UK Chancellor raises aviation tax. The company says some of its routes aren't particularly profitable as it is. Those are the headlines. I'll be back with the news at 6 o'clock.
Thank you very much, Lewis. Now then, the weather brought to you by Manx Glass and Glazing. And it's a while since we've read out a weather warning, isn't it? But as Lou mentioned there is that yellow weather warning in place from 10 p.m. tonight until 2 a.m. tomorrow. That's for coastal overtopping and inner harbour flooding. That's because of the moderate to fresh southwest wind, coupled with a high spring tide in autumn. I'm sure there's a reason for that. Areas most at risk, as usual, Fenella Beach and Peel, Shore Road in Rushen and Castletown Promenade. So do take care around those areas if you are travelling between those times. Other than that, mainly dry with good sunny spells, moderate to fresh southwest winds, as we know, and temperatures will be around 16 Celsius. Dry and bright at first tomorrow, but then outbreaks of rain and drizzle are going to arrive from the west later in the morning. The last of the rain will clear overnight into Saturday as the strong south wind swings to the west or southwest and eases. Top temperatures will be around 15 Celsius. Then on Saturday, dry with sunny spells and moderate to fresh westerly winds, and temperatures will be around 14. Sunset this evening will be at 6:15. Sunrise tomorrow morning, 7:53.
Manx Glass and Glazing can supply and install single, double and triple glazing. Call 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate.
SMS Trading have moved to 3 St Paul's Square, Ramsey. For flat pack to fully built, new or second-hand furniture, SMS Trading offer all island delivery and man in a van service. Call 315151 or find SMS Trading on Facebook.
See the island like you've never seen it before on an incredible chauffeur-driven trike tour. A unique way to make memories that will last a lifetime. Gift vouchers available too. See iomtriketours.com for details and booking.
A great night's sleep got even better with Zed's Bedding Store. From quality Beldorm bed linen and mattress protectors, fleece and woven throws to luxury duvets from the fine bedding company. Zed's Bedding Ramsey, next to Isle of Man Bank.
If you run a small business or just need more room in the back, Philshaw Vehicles has the perfect van or light commercial for all your needs and can sort out any finance. Based in the Tremode estate, view philshawvehicles.im or call 49 51 49.
You're listening to Update here on Manx Radio FM. It's just gone 5:05. Tynwald has finished, incidentally. They did go into 3 days this month, but that all concluded probably about an hour or so ago. We'll have a roundup, as usual, about the main things that have happened in Tynwald. Was there anything that really happened in Tynwald this month? That will be available. The Tynwald in Brief podcast will be available for you tomorrow. But we did hear about health quite a lot in Tynwald, and core essential health services are better provided by a large organisation like Manx Care than private providers. Now, this is from the Treasury Minister Alex Allinson. It follows claims that the former Health Minister said there were plans to privatise the health service. Manx Radio's political correspondent Phil Gaughan asked Dr Allinson whether he detected an end to healthcare that's free at the point of access.
No, I haven't, actually. I disagree with Laurie on that. We already have areas of healthcare privatised. We've had the dental service privatised because they wouldn't play ball with an NHS contract. We've got ophthalmic services privatised as well. It has happened. But the core essential services in terms of medical and social care, we know that they're far better provided by a large organisation like Manx Care. The economies of scale are there, even on a small island. So certainly when we've been talking in terms of funding for the healthcare and the priorities for the healthcare, that's all been alongside the Manx Care mandate and the need to preserve an NHS for our island, which is put out in primary legislation.
So I'm guessing the reason that council ministers, according to Laurie Hooper, were unwilling to give an unequivocal we believe in a free at the point of delivery NHS is because, as you've just described, it is a little bit more nuanced than that.
There are always a degree of compromise, and I think what Laurie Hooper's found is that he's not prepared to compromise some of his principles. When we're looking at balancing those priorities right across government, there has to be some compromise somewhere. And I think all of us in terms of ministers and the Chief Minister himself have had to accept that. When you look at what we've gone through over the last 3 years in terms of pandemics, wars in Europe, inflation, interest rates, a whole range of issues inside government, throughout our community and around the world, the fact that we're still functioning, the fact that we've still got financial stability, optimism, economic growth is a real testament to the stability of the Isle of Man and the Isle of Man's economy.
That is the Treasury Minister, Dr Alex Allinson, with some optimism there, talking to Manx Radio's political correspondent, Phil Gaughan. 8 minutes past 5. Now, we're going to be talking about Princess Anne's visit in a little while, and one of the reasons she was over here was to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the RNLI. And we're going to focus on the RNLI now because the future operation of the Douglas station is going to be the subject of a comprehensive consultation process, which is going to determine the best way forward for it. Now, currently, Douglas's Mersey-class lifeboat uses the berth built for passengers from visiting liners, as the ageing RNLI building has got a safety issue with a winch. The Mersey-class boat is one of only 2 left in service and is scheduled to be retired next year. Simon Richardson is with me, and Simon, you've been looking at today's statement from the RNLI, and the problems in Douglas, I believe, have been evident for some time.
They have, Beth, yeah. In fact, a more modern Shannon-class boat was allocated for Douglas in 2016, but problems with the boathouse, which the RNLI has operated beyond its life expectancy, means it hasn't happened. RNLI Head of Region for Wales, the West and the Isle of Man, Joe Partner, says that despite the expenditure of significant effort and resources by the RNLI over many years, they've been unable to secure a long-term solution for a new lifeboat station at Douglas. It's acknowledged that it's been a challenging time for all at Douglas RNLI, but the charity is confident that the review will secure a way forward for the station. They say the review will help substantiate negotiations with the Manx government as they continue to work closely to achieve a viable, cost-effective solution for a new lifeboat station on Douglas.
So then, do we read into that the old RNLI station just below us here at Manx Radio doesn't really feature in the charity's future plans.
Well, that's certainly the impression given, Beth. In fact, Peter Washington, the RNLI operations manager at Douglas, is quoted in the media statement. He thanks the whole team at Douglas for their unwavering commitment to saving lives at sea, despite the challenges they've faced from an infrastructure perspective over many years. He says that whilst the news was not what they were hoping for, they understand the Mersey boat will be coming out of service next year, and it's therefore essential a way forward is found to ensure the crew can continue to operate. He says they're heartened to hear the RNLI's commitment to Douglas RNLI and are confident that the review will now shape a way forward and help them find a permanent home for the most appropriate asset, i.e. the boat, for their station.
And I don't like to raise this, Simon, but when all is said and done, there is not actually a lot of time between now and next year, is there?
That's very true, Beth. And despite a lot of words in this release from the RNLI, it seems we're still some way off a permanent solution to the problem.
Simon, thank you very much indeed. It is coming up to 11 minutes past 5.
You're listening to the Isle of Man's quintessential daily news and current affairs roundup. Update on Manx Radio.
You're listening to Update on Manx Radio, and we're just going to turn to another area of government spending now, as it's been revealed that nearly £13 million has been spent over the past 5 years on supply teachers in our island schools. Well, Siobhan is with me now. Siobhan, what do we know about this?
Yes, Beth. So these figures have been released as part of a Freedom of Information request. The response reveals £12,933,080 and 28 pence has been spent between September 2019 and August 2024. It also shows, much like we've seen in other figures we've looked at this week, that cost is on the rise year on year.
And regular listeners to Update will know that you are the figures queen. Do you have a breakdown on this for us?
Yes, but to save us reeling off too many long numbers for you like we did yesterday, essentially between September 2019 and August 2020, £1,822,614 and 43 pence was spent on supply teachers. Now, compare that to last year, so between September 2023 and August 2024, where we spent £307,373 and 38 pence. So basically each year we've seen a rise of between around £200,000 and £400,000.
Siobhan Fletcher, thank you very much indeed. And that full answer with all the long numbers is available at manxradio.com. 12.5 minutes past 5. Business news now. And implementing rules around a new global tax regime could help the Isle of Man broaden its tax base and raise a forecast £35 million annually from 2027 onwards. It's a prediction from Treasury over measures being introduced by OECD as part of its so-called Pillar 2 initiative. The move is designed to ensure businesses that operate across international boundaries pay a fair share of tax wherever they're based and generate profits. You can find out more about that at manxradio.com. Ramsey Crook will bring us the stock market report, and tonight they say that UK and European markets were higher as traders assessed a flurry of corporate results and the European Central Bank's third interest rate cut of the year. The dollar jumped after data showed that the US retail sales increased slightly more than expected in September, boosting confidence that the US economy remains strong. Crude oil futures rose slightly after a 4-day losing streak as fears of a supply disruption in the Middle East eased and a surplus looms over the market next year. And gold prices hit record highs as uncertainty surrounding the US presidential elections and the war in the Middle East prompted investors to seek out the safe haven asset. Well, looking at the commodities, gold finished up 0.8% at $2,695. Brent stands up 0.04% at $74.20. At the close, the FTSE 100 was up 0.67% at 8,385. And a short time ago, the Dow Jones was trading up 0.32% at 43,214. And the Nasdaq was up 0.38% at 18,436.
I'm running late again. Do you know where I put my car keys?
In the fridge.
Where's my phone?
Under the dog basket.
Bye.
You haven't forgotten that we're seeing Ramsey Crook all later?
Oh, no, of course not. 5 p.m, is it?
3:15.
I'll be there.
Life is busy. That's why Ramsey Crookall's team takes time to help you make a mindful investment decision, considering all the options, giving you full control of your financial future. Less stress, more assurance.
Forgot to put my shoes on.
See how we can make your money work for you. Call 717171 or visit ramseycrookall.com. Licensed and regulated by the Isle of Man Financial Services Authority.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
Well, nothing to report on the roads as yet. We do know, though, that yellow weather warning is coming into force at 10 p.m. and conditions might be a little bit dicey around certain areas, so do take care if you're out and about a little bit later. That weather tomorrow causing a bit of an issue for the Manannan sailing. It's going to go a lot earlier than scheduled. It's supposed to go at 3. It's actually going at 10 tomorrow, so if you're heading out on that, you need to be on it no later than 9:30. But good news is all okay with the steam packet and the airport tonight. For the full list of what's happening roadworks-wise, just head over to manxradio.com.
Quayside Tyres and Service Centre with 1 year's free engine warranty from Castrol. Get more with Quayside.
It's coming up to 16 minutes past 5, and as we've been hearing throughout the day, the Princess Royal has been on the Isle of Man to carry out some official engagements. Now, after being greeted at the airport by the Lieutenant Governor, Sir John Lorimer, she arrived in Peel for a Thanksgiving service, marking a key milestone in the restoration and reordering of the cathedral there. And Judith Lay was among the 350 invited guests for the service. She joins us now. And I have to say, Jude, attending prestigious occasions is clearly becoming something of a habit.
Well, last Thursday it was York, it was the Minster. This Thursday it's the Princess Royal. What about next Thursday? Where am I going to be, Beth? Because it's been a very special couple of occasions and such a privilege to be there. I mean, today was quite a formal occasion, but a very happy atmosphere, appropriate for this Thanksgiving service for the reordered Cathedral Church of St. German, in the presence, as you say, of Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal, who's been a patron of the campaign, the Cathedral Quarter Trust, since it began. And, you know, it's really quite significant for the royal patronage to continue throughout a long campaign. Now, obviously, there's still a lot of work to be done, but the major work, levelling the floor, opening out the cathedral space and putting down this beautiful new stone floor that's inscribed with the names of all the previous bishops of Sodra and Man that we know about. This has been done. And, you know, it's all summed up in these phrases that were on the front of our order of service today: treasuring the past, serving the present, sustaining the future. You know, this isn't just for now. This is for generations to come that this work is being done. And so, you know, that it was marking that significantly. And one of the things that the Princess Royal did at the end was to unveil a specially inscribed stone that's at the back of the cathedral. You'll be able to see it as you go in. And it's celebrating that our cathedral is what cathedrals have always been, you know, a gathering place for people of all faiths and none. Yes, a place of worship, but also a place to draw the community together for all kinds of other events. And, you know, we had our ecumenical friends present from the Salvation Army, the Methodist, the Baptist, the Evangelical Church, all taking part in the service that was a mixture of spoken word, of Bible readings, of prayer, reflection, and wonderful music. And Her Royal Highness gave one of the readings herself, as did His Excellency the Lieutenant Governor. And the captains of the parish were there, Chief Minister, and our new bishop was there. And of course, she's not been enthroned in the cathedral as yet, and she was just in the congregation, but, you know, just representative of everybody being drawn together. And then after the service and after Her Royal Highness had unveiled the specially inscribed stone, then she went to meet some of the 150 volunteers who've all either been or currently are involved in the work. You know, architects, builders, surveyors, and many, many more people. And I didn't actually meet the Princess Royal, but somebody who did is a person who's been part of this vision for the cathedral from the very start, and that's Ravina Talbot.
Yes, it was an honour to speak to Her Royal Highness, and she's really passionate about the project, and I think she's really pleased with what we've actually achieved. And I spoke to her about the fact that we're trying to make this something for the community. Churches have to be open now for all sorts of events. Yes, it's a place of worship, but we're trying to expand that. And she agreed with me that churches are the heart of the community and they are part of our heritage as well. It was just an honour to meet her, and I think she'll be back. She's keeping an eye on us.
She always asks very pertinent questions, doesn't she? And very keen to meet the people. She makes you feel as though she has all the time in the world.
She's amazing. I'm in awe, really, her stamina and her energy. But, you know, I think she sees herself as part of our team. So it's a privilege, really, to have her on board.
That was Ravina Talbot talking to Judith Lay, and Ravina was one of those who met the Princess Royal at the cathedral today. After the cathedral part of the visit, then the Princess Royal went down to the House of Manannan, and this was to commemorate the RNLI, its 200th anniversary, of course, the Isle of Man, the home of the RNLI. And Chanel is with me now. And Chanel, you were down at the House of Manannan.
Yes, Beth, I was, and over 100 people gathered to see the Princess Royal at the House of Manannan this afternoon. While awaiting her arrival, I spoke to a number of people who couldn't wait to see her. One couple that I spoke to were Kath and Peter from Manchester, and Kath said to me that while she's seen members of the royal family at a distance before, she just had to come out and see Princess Anne. Another person that I spoke to was Karen Ratzenberg from Douglas. Now, a bit about Karen, Beth. She met the late Queen and Duke of Edinburgh in St. Lucia years ago, and she also saw Charles when he was still a prince playing polo in Kenya. But she said she'd never seen the Princess Royal until today.
Princess Anne is so hardworking. She's come over here, she's been at the cathedral, she's met a load of people, she's coming down to the House of Manannan, and considering that, you know, she had quite a bad accident recently, the fact she keeps going, and she's remarkable, and she takes a very keen interest, and obviously she's a patron of the fundraising at Peel, so yeah.
There's always opinions around the royal family, you know. What do you have to say to those?
Just take a step back. They don't ask for it, they just get on and do a job, and they're amazing at it, with the sad demise of Queen Elizabeth and Duke of Edinburgh, but it's been picked up. So you look at the number of people who turned out for the coronation of King Charles, and all support being given to Prince William and Princess Kate. There's a huge popularity still.
And as Princess Anne left the House of Manannan, Ailish Williams and her mother Larissa greeted her. The Peel Clothworker primary school pupil handed her a bouquet of flowers and a custom-made mug. I got to speak to the mother and daughter moments after.
Kind of nervous.
She was really friendly, wasn't she? Really friendly, very down to earth. Said how much she loves the Isle of Man and visiting here. Yeah, she was always very nice, very polite, wasn't she?
What was your favourite part of today?
Getting to meet her.
We love having Princess Anne visit, don't we? So we hope to see her again soon. She's always welcome. She's always a big fan of the Isle of Man. She always speaks highly of us, which is lovely to hear.
Oh, how lovely. Larissa and Ailish Williams speaking there to Chanel after they gave some flowers to Princess Anne. You're listening to Update here on Manx Radio. It's coming up to 23 minutes past 5. Some news that we have just received in the past few minutes. Police have issued an appeal after the sudden death of a 54-year-old man at the Douglas Snooker Bar on Friday night. That was the 11th of October. Officers were called to the bar on Ballaquail Road at around 6:15pm. The Isle of Man Constabulary says inquiries are ongoing, but officers are not treating the man's death as suspicious. Next of kin and the coroner of inquest have been informed. Anyone who was in the snooker club between midday and 6pm on Friday and hasn't already spoken to police is asked to contact them on 631 212, or you can also do so anonymously via Crime Stoppers, and that number is 0800 555 111. You can find all those details at manxradio.com, but just to reiterate this issue from police, an appeal after the sudden death of a 54-year-old man at the Douglas Snooker Bar on Friday night. You're listening to Update. It is 24 minutes past 5. We're joined by the sports editor, Rob Pritchard now.
Fast am I. Well, we're going to start with motorsport, and could one of the Isle of Man's emerging talents in racing make his Manx Grand Prix debut next year? Well, in an update on social media channels this week, Port St Mary rider Grant Thompson says he will hopefully be racing at MGP 2025, adding, "It's always been a dream of mine to race the mountain course." Well, as part of the same update, he's thanking those who supported him over the latest campaign, in which he's joined numerous successes both on and off Island. Among his achievements this season, Thompson claimed first place in the solo Founders Race on his Southern 100 Road Races debut in July this year. Elsewhere locally, he also won this year's Andros Racing Association Supersport 600 Championship last month. Elsewhere, this just in the last hour actually, in cycling, Manx pro rider Max Walker has signed for UCI World Team EF Education Easy Post. The USA-based team has confirmed the capture of the 23-year-old ahead of the 2025 season after Walker spent time with the team at a training camp at the start of the year. He joins after a season with the Astana Kazakhstan development team, with whom he bagged 2 stage wins during May's Tour of Japan and 1 stage victory during the Sibiu Cycling Tour in Romania in July. Elsewhere, he also bagged 2 medals whilst representing Great Britain at this year's British National Road Championships in late June, earning silver in the elite men's individual time trial and bronze in the elite men's road race. In football, one of the rising Isle of Man talents, in women's football has been snapped up by Altrincham FC Women. The Lancashire club has announced former Onchan goalkeeper Caitlin Beattie as its latest recruit this season. What's more, Beattie has already made her debut for her new team in Altringham's 3-2 victory over Wirral United at Partington Sports Village on Sunday the 13th of October in the Cheshire Women's Premier Division. Well, last season she was a mainstay between the sticks for Onchan in the Canada Life Women's League, making 13 appearances in all competitions. And finally, in rugby, former Ireland resident Bevan Rodd has been left out of England's rugby squad for next month's Autumn Nations series. Men's head coach Steve Borthwick's 36-man training squad for the tournament was revealed this week, with Rodd among 7 individuals not considered this time around. Elsewhere, 5 of the 2024 Isle of Man Sportsman of the Year's Sale Sharks teammates have been called up. England's first match of the series will be against New Zealand at the Allianz Stadium, Twickenham, on Saturday the 2nd of November, kicking off at 3:10 in the afternoon.
Thanks very much indeed, Rob. Another story today which concerns a very well-known TT rider, that is the sidecar competitor John Holden, is that he revealed he's been diagnosed with cancer. He revealed this news in a very brief update on social media. He is a 2-time TT winner, Rob, and he says he's beginning his treatment very soon. We obviously wish him all the very, very best. He seemed in good spirits.
He did indeed, and yeah, just to echo what you said there, I'm sure if John or anyone else is listening out there, we really do wish you all the best. And let's not forget, John has mentioned in his update as well that he will be out and about at a race meeting in Northern Ireland, the Sunflower meeting on Friday and Saturday as well. So we do wish him well with that, and of course with what's to come in the coming weeks and months as well. And not just clearly a popular figure around the TT paddock, but a successful one as well. 2 wins and countless podiums before that as well. So we really do wish him all the best.
We really do. And his son all set to take the reins of a sidecar very shortly as well, hopefully here on the Isle of Man. Well, that is all from Update this evening. Thank you so much for being with us as ever. There is much more about all today's top stories at manxradio.com or on our Facebook page, especially if you want to see some of the photographs of the Princess Royal's visit. If you were there, maybe you can spot yourself. Coming up next, it's an Ireland Live special, which fittingly today is an RNLI music special with Martin Perkins. Then it's Greatest Hits with Jason Moore from 6, a little light music with Morris Powell from 9, and Rianne Evans will be here from 10 with After Hours. Have a lovely, relaxing evening. We'll see you back here on Update at the same time tomorrow.